You found the WMIX Saturday Sports Show on AM 940 and WMIXsports.com. Cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. The Saturday Sports Show has been recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the top radio programs in the state. That means the very best mix of local sports content is right here. From the powerhouse on Broadway, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
The final weekend in April ushers in another edition of the Saturday Sports Show. Good morning to you, everybody listening out there, whether on AM 940 or online at WMIXsports.com. I'm Denny Swerwinski, along with Mike Richardson, pushing the buttons. Avery Barton, Chris Hugo away on assignment. Well, technically he's away because he's getting ready to set up and get ready for the doubleheader of Nashville and Mount Vernon in softball later on this morning as we get ready to go. Of course, the Saturday Sports Show brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
We have a busy show and a show that's going to preempt it a little bit. It won't go into 10. It'll end at 9:45 because the Mount Vernon Lady Rams will host Nashville in a softball doubleheader at 10 a.m. As far as we know, it is still on. Therefore, we'll end this show at about 9:45 this morning to have the pregame for that doubleheader softball matchup. We'll get right to the show, right to what's going on this morning. It's been a busy week, and it's getting to be a busy time of year, so we'll get right to the guest list. The guest list this morning includes our two standards at the beginning of the show. Tim Holloway, the head coach of the Mount Vernon Baseball Rams. They earned their 20th win of the season yesterday at Heron, and Lance Boldt, head coach of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams softball team, will join us about 8:25. Then the other half of that doubleheader duo, Dempsey Witte from Nashville, will join us, talk about the Hornettes and their season, defending their Class 2A state championship. Then we're going to have on Shane Witzel. Shane Witzel is the head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals, but this week, two of his former players, Dawson and Bronson Verhines, have decided to prolong and move their college careers to SIU for men's basketball. So we have Coach Witzel on, talk about coaching those two guys back when they played as a Woodlawn Cardinal. We had a lot of their games here on the Jefferson County Basketball Showcase. We'll have Todd Rushing on top of the hour, talk high school boys track from Pinckneyville, see what's going on there on the boys' side since we've been bouncing back and forth. Matt Wynn, that name resonates as far as Southern Illinois basketball fans in the area, but this week we'll have Matt on to talk Rangerettes softball. Benton, he is the head coach of the Benton Rangerettes softball team. We'll have him on to discuss the season, how things are going as he takes over the head coaching ranks. And then our last guest will be Eric Witges, the high school athletic director at Waltonville. Waltonville High School, grade school, having a fundraiser today down the road at Ford Square here in Mount Vernon. And that is a fundraiser for their athletic departments at both the high school and the grade school. It's Drive to Give fundraiser for our grade school and high school department. They'll raise $6,000 at Ford Square today from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So if you're in town and you're a part of another school or a county school or whatever, get out there and help Waltonville out. There'll be other fundraisers, and everybody around can help each other out with that. Michael Richardson joins me, as I said. Mike, busy time of year, but and obviously a special time, and we'll talk a little bit more later in the show, but two guys you coached back when they were probably just out of diapers, Bronson and Dawson Verhines, now going to SIU to play men's basketball.
Very exciting, absolutely. Had talked to Bronson quite a bit in the gym the last month or so, and he was going on some visits and different places around that where he was looking at possibly going, and he come in one day, and he just sort of had that look in his eye and a little twinkle, and he said, Southern's been talking to me. And then we sat out and talked for about 15 or 20 minutes about that possibility, and he was really excited. So I can't say enough about those two. We've spent a lot of time together over the years, and it is a special moment for anybody in the coaching business that's been around kids and get to see them play and take their careers to the next level like that, and it's great for them.
It's great for them, great for us, as we are in the last week in April, as I mentioned. We go into May, and things start picking up. You have baccalaureates, you have graduations, you have senior trips, you have postseason in high school sports to wrap up the 2013 season, and you also have coaching hirings. Wendell Wheeler's been hired as a new basketball coach at DuQuoin High School for the boys' side, returning back after a few years off. Then you have Joe Clark, who's been hired at El Dorado. He's going to be the new boys basketball coach there for the Eagles, taking over for Coach Zerlini. Then, of course, next weekend, the state bass fishing tournament's in Carlisle. This week, we'll know the seeds and pairings Tuesday and Wednesday of baseball and softball in 1A and 2A. The girls' soccer regional will begin next week, May 14th, 15th, 17th. Mount Vernon's a 3 seed, opened up at Carbondale on the 15th at the Marion Regional. Track's coming up. Girls' track sectionals will be 2 weeks from today. So it's a very busy time as things start rolling on here. And with that, we need to get rolling because we're on a preempted show as of right now with the Lady Rams softball doubleheader against Nashville. We'll take a break, come back. Joining us on the other side, a coach of a team who has won 20 games in a row, 5 years now. 20 games in one season or more, 5 years in a row. Who is that? Stay tuned. You're listening to Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
Response has been overwhelming to scheduling your service appointments online at FordSquare.com and KingCityChrysler.com. Hi, Roy Schmidt, President at Ford Square and King City Chrysler Center. We love that you've taken to our websites to schedule your service appointments and are always trying to find ways to make our service departments more convenient for you. Now, we're proud to offer express lane fast oil changes and more at King City Chrysler Center. This means you can stop in when it's convenient for you without an appointment. We're even open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon. Don't wait until it's too late to find out about vehicle problems. Come in for a quick express lane oil change and you'll get a free top-to-bottom vehicle inspection. It's the worry-free way to keep your vehicle running smoothly. Come see us at King City Chrysler Center for quick, convenient service, now open Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
With 2 new hospitals, trusted physicians, and dedicated staff, it's clear that our local healthcare industry is helping to make our community stronger every day. Hi, I'm Terry Prosize, a commercial lender and healthcare banking specialist at Community First Bank. I'm putting over 20 years of healthcare and business experience to work for our medical community and local businesses. Whether you have an expanding physician practice, an existing business, or hoping to start a new business, I have the financial prescription for you.
Community First Bank with locations in Mount Vernon, Woodlawn, Dix, and Ina. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Saturday Sports Show brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
And a busy day. Rams softball coming up. Rams baseball with a rare day off. Joining us now, as usual, the first guest in the spring, head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, Mr. Tim Holloway. Coach, how are you this morning?
Doing fine. Good morning, guys.
Hey, this Mr. Holloway stuff from Avery, is that because some past transgressions of driving around back when he was trying to get that precious license? Is that what this is?
I think Avery's just a fine student. Danny,
Wow.
he's a fine student, and he's showing respect to his elders.
Well, we'll find out about his elders next because Coach Boldt will be on. He won't do that. We'll find out.
Okay, I may need my computer to work a little faster too. He does a little work around the high school, I believe. So he and I are on good terms.
Okay, well that might explain what's going on. Speaking of good terms, a good week for your baseball team. You get a win against Alton at GCS Ballpark on Monday. That was a very nice win against a 4A school. That's almost like a resume win, isn't it, when you go into regional seedings?
Well, I hope so. They're pretty good, and we always enjoy playing them. You know, we've been fortunate to have success the last 4 years against them. So anytime you can beat those guys, it feels pretty good and gives your guys some confidence. Confidence
reigned, and then you come into Tuesday and a game against Cahokia. And this game ended. It was a great, your team got out to a quick 6-0 start, 6-1. Cahokia battled back 7-4. All of a sudden, game ends. Darkness, safety issues. Not talking about any particular person individually, but were you surprised that the game was called and ended at that point?
Well, I wasn't surprised at the time because they had told us the inning before that this could be it. Maybe one more, and that would be it the way that things were going. They were having a hard time seeing the ball off the bat, and they had given us a warning, so, at the time I wasn't that surprised.
A day off Wednesday, you come back with a game against Marion, and I compared that to the efficiency of your program and games over the years, how you do things. A nice, neat, clean victory over Marion at home, shutting them out on Thursday. That had to feel pretty good after having a day off with the Marion team looking to possibly get some revenge on Thursday.
Yeah, it's all about getting off to a good start and getting Tyler back on the mound. You know, we looked up and all of a sudden we're up 3-0. They've got some hits, but every time we got in a jam, Tyler made a nice pitch, usually a two-seam fastball at the knees, get that ground ball and get out of it. So he made good pitches when we need to execute. Our defense played well, and we continue to have good at-bats.
Tyler Ellis coming back off I guess would be considered the DL, retroactive to whatever, but really showed some good stuff out there on Thursday. I thought did a good job of keeping the team in it, and then, of course, getting the win and the bullpen coming in. It seems to me, as the season's gone along, the bullpen has gotten much more confident in their work coming out of the pen.
I agree, and we talked earlier this season about strengths of this team, and I thought it would be our depth of our pitching staff and experience, and that's pretty much held true. And then we've had some nice surprises. Jake Pike's in his first year at the varsity level. Thomas Weber, those guys have done a great job. Thomas has turned into a closer type, and has come in and really doing with pretty good velocity. Had a nice breaking ball and getting confidence as the season's going on. But the starting pitching's been there. And when we had Tyler out, some other guys stepped up. Landon Thomas, Tyler Morgan's a nice surprise. Has pitched well, got 3 pitches over for strikes. So, to have a good record and that type of thing when you're non-conference games, you have to have that deep staff.
And you look at the non-conference game yesterday, and I'm really proud of it, and I say that tongue-in-cheek because I was able to get 15 runs doing play-by-play yesterday. A quick start to that one. Never let Heron get off the mat, per se, as they would in wrestling in the WWE. You knock out with a starting pitcher in the first inning without that pitcher getting any outs. The bats were rattling yesterday, something you probably wanted to see more consistently through each inning rather than just a big explosion in one inning and then quiet the rest of the way. Nice to see the bats rattle all the way through that game.
Yeah, they did. We kept adding on. There's some very hard-hit balls. A couple of those balls I thought would get out. I'm not sure on the dimensions there. There's a lot more ground than it looked like, but they were some shots. And, we had a lot of substitutions. Guys came in, had good at-bats, and it was a good team win, and everybody had a hand in it. So a nice win on the road against a team that's going to be in a regional. Obviously, that's not their number one, so that has a lot to do with things. But our guys have also hit good pitching this year, so I feel like we're getting better and improving, and we're having a good time right now.
It's been a good time yesterday, had by all a 5-inning win at Heron in a place that you'll play the regional, and now you get a couple days to refocus, and I would decide or surmise that next week, the non-conference game on Monday against Murphy, that was one that your team tripped up last year at home. That's in the back of your mind, but then the next 3 days, Carbondale at Kokia at Althoff. Probably the 4 biggest games on your schedule so far in a row coming up here in this next week.
Yeah, it's big, but we don't look at it like that. I don't have to, I learned early on, you don't want to oversell anybody in this game. So these guys know when it's time, and we don't have to talk about it. They'll come ready to play, and we'll let the chips fall. But, they played every day. They come to play, they do things right. And I can live with that.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty, and you start looking at the schedule, here we are, it becomes May 1st on Wednesday. There's really only 3 home games left for your Rams. On Tuesday against Carbondale, and then the doubleheader against Highland on May 18th. It seems to me that this season's flying by down the road as we head into the final weeks of 2013.
It is flying by, and it's been an enjoyable season. Pretty good weather for the most part. We have had a lot of home games, which typically happens if you have some bad weather early because we were able to play when some people are not. So, we've got a lot of home games early. We're going on the road here coming up. We're looking forward to that. We enjoy going on the road, new field, different challenges. It's always a lot of fun. So, we've got a lot to look forward to, and we're going to enjoy every minute of it because as we talk to these seniors, it flies by, and you want to look back and have good memories and leave everything out there.
Speaking of those seniors, as you roll from April into May, success does make a little bit of difference. Obviously, if a team is winning and doing well, focus does do pretty well. Is it getting to that point in the time of the year where you got to rein in your seniors? Are going to have a couple more days, because we got Avery in here, and we got to rein him in a little bit, being a senior and everything. But is it tough to kind of get your guys? They're going to have days off coming up. They're going to probably get out earlier than others. You're still going to be playing baseball and practicing. Is it kind of hard to get those seniors still focused into the point of playing a game, even though a lot of frivolity going on for them in their lives?
Well, I think it's tough if you don't have much invested, but these guys have a lot invested. I'm big on having balance. We play hard when we're here, but they have a lot of things going on in their life. They're going to have a good time to play some golf, to fish, whatever it is. I'm sure they'll get the rest and do the things they need to do, but it's a great time in their life when school's out and all they have is baseball. So as long as they come through that gate and get locked in and get focused on what they need to do and have a good time enjoying the game, we'll be fine.
I mean, I know we have a good time because you're always the leadoff questionnaire, I guess, would be of our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. And this week's question, a little twist on things. Everybody has their favorite team. They're always happy when their favorite team wins. However, this week's question is, what college or pro sports team, when they lose, makes you the happiest?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always look forward to this, Danny. It's got to be the Cubs. I can't help it. Those guys they're never quiet. They just run their mouth, and those Cub fans just never stop. And I've got a lot of friends that are Cub fans, but, you hate to see somebody having misery, but every now and then you just say, well, maybe they'll keep them quiet for a while.
Is that right? Well, that's okay then. That'll work.
All right.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, those Big Four games. Thanks for joining us, and have a good Saturday plans and weekend for you.
All right, thanks. We'll see you.
That's Tim Holloway, the head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams baseball team. Their 20th win of the season yesterday at Heron. That's 5 straight years in a row the Rams baseball program has had at least 20 wins. Who's next? You probably know. But a guy who hopefully will get a doubleheader in today at the high school level here in Mount Vernon. Who that is, you'll have to stay tuned and find out. You're listening to Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
It happens every spring. You need a great quality, new-to-you vehicle. There's a reason why Second Chance Auto has been helping put families into affordable, dependable vehicles for over 32 years. Honest, fair deals. Ain't nothing fancy, just great vehicles with warranties, honest deals, and bank rate financing for all. That's the only way Second Chance Auto will do business. And you don't even have to leave your home to get credit approval. Call Second Chance Auto at 244-4582 and get pre-approved right over the phone. They know bad things can happen to good people. Second Chance Auto, Route 142 East in Mount Vernon. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois proudly welcomes Dr. Brian Steinke to their medical staff. Dr. Steinke earned his medical degree at the University of Illinois in Chicago and has degrees in anatomy and physiology from UC Berkeley, and he brings prestigious credentials to the center. Dr. Steinke is a gifted physician and contributor to orthopedic textbooks. Call 618-242-3778 or visit their informative website at orthocenter-si.com.
I'm Kevin Snyder with a look at your next rad weather. Periods of rain and a few rumbles of thunder today and tonight. High today of 61 and a low tonight of 52. Then cloudy tomorrow morning with a shower or two. We'll see some sunshine returning for the afternoon. High of 66 and a low tomorrow night of 48. Monday, partly sunny and warmer. High 76. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Final week in April, the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX, brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. That's Mike Richardson alongside Avery Barton pushing the buttons. Chris Hugo on assignment, getting ready for the Lady Rams softball game. I'm Denny Zerwinski, and joining us now, the aforementioned head coach of the Lady Rams softball team, Lance Boldt. Coach, do we have games today? That's the number one question to start off.
Oh, yeah. We're playing today. We got a 10 o'clock doubleheader here at home against Nashville. The field's in good condition, so yeah, we're ready to play.
Hornettes coming to town this morning, starting at 10 right here on AM 940 WMIX. Your week this week, up and down. Did get games in. Tell our listeners about the games you're able to get in this week.
We started off Monday with Salem, and it was a good game. We were able to win that one 4-3. Just just a solid ball game, both sides. Salem's a pretty good team, and we're happy to get that win. Tuesday we came back with Cahokia, and we won that one 15-1. And then Thursday we had another conference game, Marion at home, and it was a tough one. We were down 7-0 early, and really proud of the girls, the way they fought back. We came back, took an 8-7 lead late. Then they got 4 runs the last 2 innings and won the game 11-8. But so that's what's gone on so far. We're 2-1 this week. Now we got a big doubleheader against a really good Nashville squad. So it'll be a tough one today, but the girls are ready to go.
Girls are ready to go. Improvement and everything health-wise for your team. We talked about it last week, a week with games. How's the health of your team heading into this doubleheader this morning? Uh-oh. Live radio, we're going to have to call him back. I'll fill in while we talk. Lady Rams today against Nashville as we try to get back with Lance Boldt. It's live radio. It's what happens. Of course, the Lady Rams will start at 10 o'clock today, doubleheader against the Hornettes out here at the Cusimano Sports Complex. Pregame will be here at 9:45. And then the Lady Rams have a busy week next week. Looks like games on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and doubleheader on Friday, Saturday. As we try to hook back up, let's see if we got it. Yeah, let's see what we got it. Avery's working hard, talking now. Buttons pushed. Phones picked up. Here we go. Can you hear us once again, Coach?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we go. Well, the question was, how is your team right now battling injuries in previous weeks? How healthy is your team going into today?
We got some girls that are banged up a little bit, some girls who have been battling the flu. Of course, the big injury right now is to one of our seniors, one of our better hitters and top pitchers. That's Summer Carch. She's out for at least another 2 weeks, maybe 3, but we're hoping to get her back in a couple weeks. And obviously that doesn't count Haley Lockhart, who we don't have, obviously, for the whole year with the torn ACL. But it'd be nice to get Summer Carch back here down the stretch as we head into the regional.
Head into the regional. Next week, a busy week, it seems, for your team. The schedule I have says you're at home against Heron and Carbondale on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at Cahokia at Benton, and then Friday, Saturday to try an invitational. If that's the schedule, it's going to be no rest for anybody next week if the weather holds out.
Right. I hope we can play every single one of those games. I'm looking forward to next week. We got some girls. I feel like we're definitely getting better right now defensively. We're doing some things better than what we were doing early on. There's still some little things we have to work on, but that's kind of been the one thing. If you look back at the Marion game, just a couple little things hurt us. I don't know if it was just focus or concentration or what it was, but I don't feel like we're. I definitely think we're doing better at like tracking fly balls, hitting our cuts, but there's just 2 or 3 little things every game that just seem to get us. And but offensively, I'm okay with what we're doing. We're out hitting our opponents right now. We're basically even on runs scored. It's just been the fact that we probably had twice as many errors as our opponents have so far this year, and that's killed us. So, but things are getting better. So we just need to play. I think playing solves a lot of that. We work on these things in practice, but there's nothing like seeing it in a game situation, and that's what we need.
Seeing things in a game situation like you see and needing that is part of that right now with your ability to get more games in than at the beginning of the year is the reason why your team seems to be able to play those things because it's happening in game situations rather than in a warehouse or just in a practice situation once in a while after school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a nice setup out here at the Cusimano Sports Complex. The fact that we got the 4 fields and we're able to rotate through stations and get all the coaches working with the players at different fields and just going through different things defensively. But, then that helps. But I really think a game situation helps more than anything else. And so we're just trying to fix those little things. And again, like I said, I don't know. I don't know if it's focus, concentration. Things seem to snowball. It seems like every game we have that one inning where instead of just giving up 1 or 2 runs, we give up 4 or 5 runs in that inning, and that can really deflate a team pretty quick. And the good thing was against Marion, we were able to still come back despite that 6-run inning that they put up on us. But that happens once a game. That really hurts. So we're trying to eliminate those really big innings from our opposition if we can do that, we'll definitely compete with anybody.
You mentioned earlier as we brought you on the air that the field is ready to go. A little bit of rain last night in the King City. Is the field going to take a lot of work this morning to get ready, or was it basically just enough to kind of make it almost into a great field with just the amount of rain that was received last night?
Oh, I think the field's fine. I got out here about 6:30, and we're dragging it right now, and we're about to chalk it up and ready to go. I honestly thought, looking at the radar last night, we were going to get a lot of rain, and so I was pleasantly surprised when I woke up to see that at our house it didn't rain at all, and I came out here, it rained a little bit, but it wasn't much. So just enough to get the field looking good.
As you get down to this time of the nitty-gritty, this time of year, I asked Coach Holloway this just a while ago, and I ask you, as the calendar turns from April to May, we got Avery over here. I told the same thing to Coach Holloway. Avery's a senior, and it's kind of hard to keep him. We got to keep him focused here as we go into April, May.
Especially Avery. That's tough to do. But
and we noticed this week he said Mr. Boldt this week, so something
must
be.
Well, I had to get on him this week at school a little bit. So, but I'm glad he's coming around. That's good.
Hey, when we talk about that senior focus, is that a case for you and your seniors to kind of, in this next few weeks, kind of as a reminder, hey, I know things are going on, you got graduations and days off, and you're getting out before everybody else. Is that one of those things you'll have to check with your staff to make sure that your seniors still show that leadership on and off the field by remaining as focused as they can be?
With this particular senior class, I don't think it's going to be a big issue. We got a good senior class, good group of girls who I think that they understand that as far as high school softball, this is it, and they want to play hard. They want to play every day, and they want to finish things off on the right foot. And I would assume that all year long they've done a good job at coming out and leading the rest of the team. So I'm not too worried about this group of seniors, and they're just a really special group in my opinion. So, but as you said earlier, we got games every single day, and that'll definitely help. The more we play, the better it'll be. If we have a lot of off days because of rainouts or teams that cancel on us for no reason, which has happened a lot this year, that can be frustrating, and I don't want that to happen. So the more we play, the better everything will be.
Well, the more we play, the better it'll be, and we get to do those two games this morning and into this afternoon. Looking forward to the doubleheader on the AM 940 WMIX and online at WMIXsports.com. The last thing we got to do before you leave and help get that field ready is answer our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. Now, we all know when your favorite team wins, everybody's happy. But we want to know what college or pro sports team, when they lose, makes you the happiest?
Well, I would have to say, without question, my whole life it's been the Cubs. I'm a diehard Cardinals fan, but I don't know if I love the Cardinals more than I hate the Cubs. It's kind of probably about even. But here lately, it's been the Reds. I can't stand the Cincinnati Reds right now. So we got some family members on my wife's side who are Jasper, Indiana people, and they just love the Reds. And so every time the Reds lose, I'm just really, really, really happy. But I despise the Cubs.
Is that the Brandon Phillips mantra? Is that why you're upset with him?
Brandon Phillips, even Dusty Baker, Cueto, all those guys. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Reds.
I can get into the Dusty Baker dislike. I can for my Cubby Blue
reasons.
Liked him
for a while.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, thanks for joining us. We'll let you go. You got to get your field ready and get your team ready. And Chris Hugo will be heading out there. I'll be joining there as soon as I get done with the show. Good luck today, and we'll look forward to doing those two games today against the Nashville Hornettes.
All right, thanks so much, guys.
That's Lance Boldt, the head coach of the Lady Rams softball team, and off to what had a good week so far, trying to get two in, and we'll get two in today if the weather holds off against the Nashville Hornettes. We need to take a break when we come back. The guy that's in the other dugout of that doubleheader this morning and this afternoon, Dempsey Witte, will join us right here on the Saturday Sports Show. You're listening to that here on WMIX.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
How do the best continue to get better? Hi, this is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. We're no different than any team. When you're at the top of your game, the best wants to play for you. That's why, with the addition of our new shop foreman and the rest of our body shop crew, Landers now has a combined experience of over 70 years in dealing with the best parts and repair finishes on the market. This means when you walk into Landers, you can breathe a little easier knowing that your vehicle will receive the best quality repair by the best certified technicians within a reasonable amount of time. Again and again, we work directly with most insurance companies and have loaners and rental vehicles on site for your convenience. We're proud to not only be the standard, but to keep raising the bar in collision repair. Come meet the staff, take a tour of our facilities, and get to know the Landers crew that Landers Collision has so proudly acquired. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. Give us a call, 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
State Farm, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica, Jerry Newman. Does State Farm offer more discounts to more drivers?
Yep, like the good driver discount.
So it's for good, but not great drivers.
No, Jerry. There's also the multi-line discount.
For calling from multiple lines while driving.
You should never use a phone while driving.
I only make calls from my car when I'm stuck in a ditch or something.
Are you in a ditch?
Yes, I am.
State Farm offers more discounts to more drivers than any other insurance company. Get to a better state.
One more reason to call State Farm agent Tony Boldt in Mount Vernon at 242-1421.
Saturday Sports Show, once again on WMIX, brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospitals, more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
That's Mike Richardson. I'm Denny Zerwinski, and we bring in a guy who's, I believe, riding the big cheese toward the King City, the head coach of the Nashville Hornettes, Dempsey Witte, this morning. Coach, how's that ride coming over from Washington County so far?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Is it a hard time keeping Wayne Hardy quiet on the bus?
I tell you what, he's not on the bus, so it's been an easy ride now.
Oh, so yeah, okay. The biggest kid in the bunch is not on the bus, right?
Yeah, he's driving separate, so he's a busy man. He's got some stuff going on, but he's going to be there for game time. But he's not with us today on the bus.
Hey, when you have that in your contract, you don't have to ride school buses, I bet.
That's right, man. He can kind of do as he pleases there.
Hey, speaking of doing as you please, you got a state championship last year, and sometimes that folds into the next season. The winning program will carry over. This year, the River to River Mississippi Division. Give me one word that describes the softball on the Mississippi Division side.
Excellent. I guess that would be the way to term it. I mean, it is just really good softball. I just feel like each team has a Division I athlete. You know, there's a couple teams there that have multiple kids already signed to go play college softball. The coaching is very good. The scouting is very good. And, anybody can beat you any day. It's just really good softball to watch.
Speaking of good softball, your team has been kind of coming in and playing very well lately. Seemed to be on a roll here in the last few weeks with your tournament last weekend and then squeezing in wins over AJ and DuQuoin. It seems your team's starting to catch stride here as you start winding down the regular season.
Yeah, we like where we're at right now. We're healthy, and that's really important. And, we seem to be taking good approaches at the plate, and then we're getting solid pitching, and our defense is getting better. And, we're excited to be coming up to the games and to be playing each day.
You had a unique experience to start this season. Of course, the Nashville Hornets girls basketball team wins the state title, turns around, and within the next week has to begin practice and getting ready to go. Was that kind of a tough transition this year? I know Nashville's used to going to Bloomington to basketball, come back to softball, but with winning one title and defending...
It's enjoyable, though. It is kind of tough, but we wouldn't want to have it any other way. It's a good problem to have, and I've kind of experienced that a little bit before. A couple of years earlier, I was coaching, football. We made a deep run. I had missed a couple of weeks of basketball, and then went to state basketball, and we got off the bus, and I looked at my watch, and we had about 22 hours till softball practice, so I kind of been able to adjust to it a little bit, and, the same thing this year when we came home. I gave those basketball girls, I think it was 4 or 5 days just to go home and work on getting some rest and work on their studies a little bit and get back in the flow before they joined us.
Talk about some of the girls that will be in the lineup today for the doubleheader that we'll be talking about on the air with your team this morning.
Well, first of all, I got 2 great seniors, and they provide a lot of offensive power for us and a lot of leadership. And, Shay is going to pitch one of the games, and she's done a great job on the mound for us. And, has been a solid player for 4 years to play. And Nicole Deering is our leadoff center fielder, and she's done a great job putting pressure on people and kind of setting the table for the middle part of our lineup.
today.
And then, Macy Ingram's going to pitch one of the games as well, and she's done a great job, since she's been here. She throws a lot of strikes, doesn't walk people, and we feel we got a pretty good chance to win every time she's on the mound.
Speaking of pretty good chance to win, your schedule, of course, will toughen up. You have Massac County coming up, O'Fallon. You also have Columbia, Collinsville. Well, I mean, it's a who's who of scheduling as you go down the stretch to get your team ready for postseason.
Yeah, that's one thing we worked on last year was kind of beefing up the schedule, especially at the end. And O'Fallon's got a great program. We went there last year and got no hit and got beat 1-0 in extra innings. And then Massac County, of course, like I said, they got a good program as well. We're looking forward to going down to SIU. We were fortunate enough to get to play down there last year against Cobden. And, I think those teams prepare you for the postseason, and that's what it's all about.
Speaking of postseason, you're in the Pinckneyville Regional. There's no doubt that's a very tough regional. You have DuQuoin, Pinckneyville, of course, with you, a pretty good Benton team on the rise, and a Waltonville Sesser team that seems to be getting better game in, game out. This is not an easy regional just to get out and get to the DuQuoin sectional in this case.
Oh, no, I don't think it's easy regional to win the first game. I mean, there's quality teams in there from top to bottom. And, a couple other coaches have kind of talked to me about it and said, boy, that's a tough one. And, yeah, it is, but that's the way it is. And we talked about it with our girls, and we got to deal with it and take it one game at a time and try to do the best we can. Nature
of it as it is your team plays in that regional and heads to DuQuoin sectional before going to Rend Lake to the Super. It's one of those deals today, riding that bus over here. Mount Vernon team, obviously not a rival, not a conference game, not a lot known between the schools as much. On a Saturday morning where it's really dreary and damp and cloudy, is it one of those where you just got to maybe have to talk to your girls a little bit to get them up for this one?
Well, that's one good thing about this group. They're always ready to go. A lot of them love softball. It's their favorite sport for most of them. And it really hasn't been hard getting these girls fired up to play softball. And that's something we've kind of tried to teach since day one, and they've bought in, and hopefully we'll be ready to go again today.
Well, as you know, and you're a busy man this morning riding that bus over here and getting your team ready. Our final question is our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, and we all know everybody's happy when their favorite sports team wins. But this week's question is, what college or pro sports team, when they lose, makes you the happiest?
When they lose?
Yep.
That would probably be Duke basketball. I don't know why. I've never really. I mean, I respect the program and everything, but I've just not been a big Duke basketball fan. I think it goes back to the days where I like UNLV and some of them other ones, and I kind of enjoy seeing them lose.
You're a great thinking kind of guy. I totally agree with you on that answer. Coach, thanks for joining us this morning. We know you're riding a bus, getting your team over here to Mount Vernon. Look forward to seeing you here in about an hour. Ready to go, and thanks for joining us this morning on a Saturday Sports Show.
All right, thanks a lot for having me, guys.
That's Dempsey Witte, the head coach of the Nashville Hornettes. They come to the King City today to play the Lady Rams. You can hear that game. It's pregame, in fact, in just about an hour at 9:45 as Lady Rams host Hornets in a doubleheader right here where you're listening right now. We need to take a break, and we're next guest, a guy who is coaching who has coached two players that are going to play Division I men's basketball next season. Who is that? Stay tuned. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
America is a nation on wheels. Everyone has at least one automobile. We use them for shopping, work, everything we do. But they can be a threat. Some accidents can't be prevented. Your professional Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crown View in Mount Vernon, can help protect you from a large financial loss when an accident happens. Call Page Insurance today at 242-7000 about low-cost auto insurance from Pekin Insurance. Ask them about the many money-saving discounts that are available. Depend on your hometown professionals.
Pekin Insurance.
What does technology sound like? Is it the clang of heavy machinery, the beeps and chirps of an electronic gadget? At the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center, technology sounds a little something like this.
It's the sound of a young girl excited because her mom's being released the same day as her minimally invasive surgery. Thanks to the Da Vinci surgical robot, our surgeons' hand motions are seamlessly translated into smaller, more precise movements. But surgery isn't the only way Good Samaritan is raising the bar for advanced healthcare in Southern Illinois.
That's the sound of a patient's health record being updated and stored electronically for immediate access by nurses, primary care doctors, and specialists alike. That's why soon, the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center will use all electronic patient health records. Less paper translates to faster, better care for you. And that sounds a little something like this.
The new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. Raising a hospital. raising the bar.
Southern Illinois now has a better home for sports. It's the all-new WMIXSports.com. Jam-packed with local scores, video highlights, and archives of every local sports broadcast on WMIX. Did your team win? Missed that game-winning shot last night? Didn't catch your favorite coach on the Saturday Sports Show? WMIXSports.com is right at your fingertips. On your computer, your smartphone, your tablet, or your video game console. It's the all-new WMIXSports.com. Another free service from Withers Broadcasting.
Saturday Sports Show brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
And we get ready to go. What it should be is a very happy time, as in Woodlawn, 2 former Woodlawn High School Cardinals going to go play basketball at SIU. Their high school head coach, Shane Witzel, joins us this morning. Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. You've got to be very happy. You're out of season, vacation, relaxing. It's all Oklahoma City Thunder around your place of residence. But for you, I know I had to mention that. I'm sure somebody's in depression with Westbrook being out. But for you, got to be very proud to see a couple of your former players move on and up to the Division I men's basketball level.
Oh, most definitely. You know, I can't be more excited for Dawson and Bronson, and they're both fine young men, and they go about their business in the right way, and they're good people first and foremost, and that, you know, you like to see people like that have an opportunity to succeed and get a chance to play at a high level. And for both those guys to be playing Division I basketball and be together for a couple, or at least one more year anyway, it's very exciting for them and their family, and for their friends, and for us as coaches as well.
Speaking of that, those two back in high school were part of that 09 team that got second in state 4 years ago. When you saw those two and you had those two coming through the system, freshmen on, did you see the potential that they had coming out when they were a scrawny little freshman back in your program their first day of practice?
Well, you know, they were both going to be good players. I mean, you're not going to sit there and think that you're going to see a Division I player, since those typically, you don't see many of those in Southern Illinois. So, you know, I can't say that I saw that coming, but they both had a lot of talent, and their understanding of the game was really good. Their work ethic was outstanding, good teammates. So a lot of those things were in place for them to continue to get better, and we knew they were going to be good players for us, and they were just a joy to coach, and they were great teammates, and you know, so early on, it's always kind of hard to predict as far as being a college player, but I felt both of them had the ability to play in college. It was just at what level. And in particular, Bronson, he was, I wouldn't say he was a late bloomer so much for us because he played so much early, but at the collegiate level, I had said all along that I felt like if he just had time to get into his body, and with his length and size and his ability to play out on the floor and kind of play inside, and that he would have the ability to go on. And Dawson as well. You know, Dawson's a great athlete, outstanding baseball player, great football player, and you knew that he was going to have some opportunities as well in multiple sports. So I'm just excited for the two of them and for their mom and dad.
As we know, sibling rivalry sometimes can drive players to be the best they can be. Is that what you saw? You mentioned them being great teammates and great leaders. Is that what you saw between them in the days of practice that you had them?
No, I never really saw that at all. Of course, myself having an older brother, you know, I understand what that's about, and I never really saw that much from them as far as any kind of rivalry. You know, you wouldn't really known that they were brothers and have that kind of competitiveness. Now, they're both competitive, but as far as being a sibling rivalry, I never really witnessed any of that. Might have more of that with Gabe and Ross than you did with Bronson and Dawson.
You played Division I baseball at Murray State. You know what it takes to kind of get to that level and to maintain it, to play at Murray in a Division I program. To our listeners, the work it takes, tell our listeners how much work it takes, not only to get to a Division I program, but the effort it takes on the floor and off in the classroom to keep and maintain things to remain in a Division I program like that.
Oh, sure. It's, you know, one is you got to really love playing, and you have to be ultra competitive, and that's the number one driving force. And you understand that it is a business as you get farther along, and they're paying for your school, and there's an expectation there, not so much as an outside influence, because people that make it to that level they're driven internally. There's not a lot of external influences. I mean, there is to some degree, but the motivation comes from within, and the level of play that you have to reach. It extends your level of play when you play against better players. So, you welcome that challenge, you expect that challenge. Everybody that you play with is going to be an all-stater. And, everything's just more serious. The time, as far as practice time, is more and more time in the weight room. You have to balance your time better with the classroom. All of those things. Studying on the road, it's definitely a big challenge. And you have to be a good student to be able to meet the NCAA requirements. So, it's basically you are eating, sleeping, and doing your studies and at practice, and that's basically what your life is for the most part. There's not a lot of downtime, and you got to learn how to manage your time, and that's always kind of an important aspect of that. But for someone that really has a dream of playing Division I level, it's everything that you want it to be, and the opportunities out there for the taking. You just have to be confident in your abilities to get the job done, and expect that knowing that you're going to have to improve in all aspects of your game. But the most important thing is you're there to get a degree, to get your education, and move forward with your life. And those two guys have all of that.
I think it's important you mentioned move forward. And I think, Bronson's 2 years older than Dawson. Bronson graduates, Woodlawn gets to Kaskaskia. Dawson's coming different ways. Now they somehow meet up back at Wren Lake this past year, and play together. They didn't think that was going to happen. Now that's done. Now they think that's their last game. Now they're together at Southern. It's kind of like for Bronson and Dawson, separate roads have brought them together by whatever reason. It's kind of really a cool story how they've ended up back together one more time playing basketball again.
Oh, I think so. I think it's exciting for, like I said, their families. And, Bronson, I know that was a big decision on his part on what to do. And the one thing that you don't want to do is have those what-ifs when you're older. So did it benefit him educationally to come back and go to Wren Lake? No. But 1 year out of your life as far as your work career is not that huge of an issue. Because you don't want to look down the road and say, you know what, I wished I would have taken that opportunity to try to make the most of that. And so I don't think there's any regrets from that. But I would say the chance to play with Dawson was probably part of that driving force. And just reading some of his comments in the paper yesterday, that seemed like that was a big part of that, was the chance to come back and play with him and seeing Dawson chance to play. And then he got a fresh start. That was an important aspect that Coach House gave him an opportunity, and he took full advantage of that, and he used that to springboard forward to an opportunity to play in college. And Dawson as well took his own route, and he had some opportunities to play with on the baseball side of it, and I think he was probably torn with that to some degree, but I'm sure he doesn't regret that decision now moving forward with the chance to play at SIU.
I know I've just read on Twitter that I am saving you from spending thousands of dollars just by talking with you now. Somebody tweeting they're very impatient with you talking right now. Trying to help you save a few $1,000s buying new vehicles, it seems like. So, to not cause anybody any extra stress, we're going to let you go, but before we do, we have our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. All right, it's not hard.
Still doing that.
I feel confident you'll have an answer immediately. Okay?
I don't know.
What college or pro sports team, when they lose, makes you the happiest?
Oh, that's without a doubt. That's Kentucky. Not because of you. Although that might be part of it. Probably the biggest story of that is being a player at Murray State. The people in Kentucky are fanatic about Kentucky. And many of the people down there, even some of the guys on our own team, my question to them is, well, what if Murray played Kentucky? Who would you root for? Hands down, they'd always say Kentucky, and I really could not understand how you could root for another school that you're actually playing for or attending. So I think my dislike for Kentucky grew in those years at Murray.
Okay. We'll let it go, and I know that I am smiling because I know that you're having to buy a new vehicle today, so it's kind of like payback since you said that now.
Well, in '92 when that happened, we were in Eastern Kentucky playing a series there on the weekend, and there was a lot of sad people in the hotel, except for us other guys from Illinois and from Indiana and Missouri, and we weren't too disappointed.
Oh, I know. I still remember that to this day, exactly where I was at and what I was doing. So, yeah. Hey, Coach, thanks for coming on and joining us. I appreciate it this morning. We'll let you get going. We know you got stuff going on, but thanks for joining us again here on Saturday Sports Show.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. That's Shane Witzel, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals, high school coach of Dawson and Bronson Verhines, going to SIU. And in studio, we got a guy that coached Dawson and Bronson back when they were just peddling in diapers and then growing up and having a basketball bigger than they were. And Mike Richardson, it's a long time, long road, big dreams achieved now for a couple of your former players.
Yeah, as we started to show off talking a little bit about that, it's it's super exciting, absolutely, and been in contact with both of them and see them regularly at the gym working out, and it's been a fun process for them. They've sort of kept me updated and filled in on their travels and the recruiting process, so having been around those guys, I guess since around 2002 when we started our summer program with them through the AYBT organization, and having won a national championship with them also in 2003. We've been close, and now we get to continue this march on.
And the march on to SIU, and they get to play together at grade school. You get together in high school. That happens quite a bit, brothers and sisters who get to play. But the opportunity to end up being good enough to play at the next level, which was JUCO, and it'd be good enough to play at the D1 level together. This is a rarity, unlike anything you see a lot of times for Southern Illinois, let alone the country.
Yeah, you read things and you hear about certain stories of teams or individuals or circumstances, and you think, well, you couldn't write a script that Hollywood would believe to even make it into a movie. And now we're living this, and being 2 years apart is the key here. Dawson goes immediately out of high school to Kaskaskia for 1 year. Don't work out up there, takes some time off, goes to SIU Edwardsville to further the education, a great school, plays some intramural basketball at a high level. Then Dawson comes through the system, goes to Wynn Lake. As Shane Witzel said earlier, baseball and basketball both, and the shoulder don't react to baseball as much as easily as it did for basketball for him. Made the decision to stay with basketball, and the next thing you know, that they're figuring out a way that Bronson can come to Wynn Lake for another year. How that works out, coming back from another JUCO, from a D1 college for education purposes, and then the magical year of the Wynn Lake Warriors. But it's been amazing, and a little twist that a lot of people might know, and some of them closer, and some of them this is pretty interesting. But during the travels of the AYBT seasons over the years when we had them through grade school, our arch rival that we ended up having was Mount Zion, a town right beside Decatur, the central part of the state. And we had hooked up with this team several times, and this two great programs in summer, and the rivalry was blossoming at that time, and basically played 4 years against each other, and maybe 4 or 5 times a year. Ended up, they had a set of twins, their last names were Long, that played for Mount Zion through this whole run of the Bronson and Dawson through grade school. Lo and behold, one of the Longs went to SIU 3 years ago and went there for a couple of years, and now Caleb Long is actually on SIU's roster right now. So now you have the Verhines and Mr. Long down at SIU Carbondale. You talk about coming full circle from a youth summer program to D1 basketball. That just says a ton for these young men's characters.
And it is, and we wish nothing but the best to Bronson and Dawson Verhines guys that we covered here on WMIX. A lot of games we all did on the Jefferson County Basketball Showcase, and that was something that we're very proud of, to see those guys grow up and go from there. We have to take a break. Avery's getting nervous. We also have we're on Twitter at WMIX Sports. You can tweet us there. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. The Twitter, or the WMIX Sports social media question of the week: what team college or pro, that loses makes you the happiest? Mike, do you have yours, Ed?
Yeah, I've got to have two. I've got to have a college and a pro, no doubt. College is obviously Texas in football, no doubt about that. And then the other one, it's evidently no secret. Everybody sees what hat I wear most 99% of the time, and it's Boston. They win 2 World Series in the decade of the 2000s, and now they've reinvented baseball. It seems like that they think, and they go 86 years without winning one. So. It's got to be those two, hands down, not even close.
College-wise, I can't even come up. There's so many. Duke basketball, Louisville basketball, Notre Dame football.
And that was a close one there for me, too, also in football. Texas and Notre Dame.
Those two. Pro-wise, boy, I don't know. NBA, there's not much. Football, not much. I mean, NFL, it's like, it just depends. I'm not a Manning guy. I just don't want the Mannings to win anything. I'm not enthralled by them. I think I'm on Manning overload with them at times.
Well, I don't know if they would make some commercials, though. I think if they could get in the commercial spotlight and let people know what they look like and who they are, if they could ever do any TV commercials, maybe that would change our minds a little bit.
Illinois basketball's there just because I get tired of hearing, why don't you guys play us? And we're like, no, don't have to at Kentucky. We schedule our games. Pro-wise, I don't know. I keep going through my head, as a Cub guy, would I say Cardinals lose all the time? Yeah, but they're not a rival. I mean, obviously if the Cubs could compete a little bit more, they would be a rival. That's been my theory. Why do you make fun of a team and pick them as your rival? You beat them most of the time. So I don't know. I mean, those are my big three: be Duke basketball, Louisville basketball, Notre Dame football, with others in the running as well. That makes me rather happy. That's kind of where I'm at. You want to answer? We want to hear your answer. Read your answer. Post your answer at Facebook.com/WMIX Sports. Like us while you're there, or tweet us your answer at WMIX Sports. We need to take a break. When we come back, a guy who has a new track facility to mess with, also a guy who is a head coach of a boys track team. Who is that? Stay tuned. After the break, we'll talk to that track coach. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
Don't just dream about a better job. Go get it with scores of programs that take 2 years, 1 year, or even just a few months to complete. Rend Lake College is your gateway to a career you'll love. From nursing to coal mining, from computer programming to cosmetology, and everything in between. Rend Lake College is affordable, convenient, and ready to get you trained for your new job fast. Call us at 618-437-5321 or visit us at rlc.edu.
Southern Illinois' home for news, talk, and America's best music. WMIX Mount Vernon, a free service from Withers Broadcasting.
Spring is here, and just about everyone wants to be more mobile. Stop by TMS Mobility, a division of the Medicine Shop Pharmacy, for all your mobility product needs. They carry a large selection of scooters, wheelchairs, and so much more. Best of all, you can rent them by the day, week, or month. The staff at TMS Mobility can take care of billing your insurance, too. TMS also carries a large selection of vehicle lifts for your scooter. Here's pharmacist and pharmacy owner Eric Black.
We service a 60-mile radius area. It's a pretty wide area. We service orders from several area hospitals, and we have the staff in place that really sets us apart. We have 3 respiratory therapists and 2 seating specialists to help with seating on wheelchair and power chair needs. And we just feel that we have the staff and the warehousing and the facilities in place to really set us apart from any of our competitors in the area.
TMS Mobility, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
I'm Kevin Snyder with a look at your next rad weather. Periods of rain and a few rumbles of thunder today and tonight. High today of 61 and a low tonight of 52. Then cloudy tomorrow morning with a shower or two. We'll see some sunshine returning for the afternoon. High of 66 and a low tomorrow night of 48. Monday, partly sunny and warmer. High 76. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Saturday Sports Show on WMIX, brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Denny's Royce, Mike Richardson alongside Avery Barton pushing the something like that. Turn around. The senioritis is kicking in. You and I are going to have to discussion. Also, Chris Hugo on assignment. He's getting ready as we'll get ready to do the doubleheader between Mount Vernon and Nashville today. And softball starting at 9:45. Joining us now, the head boys track coach at Pinckneyville High School, a good friend of the Saturday Sports Show, Todd Rushing, join us. Coach Rushing, are you track meeting, golfing, or hunting this morning? What are you doing?
Well, I'm at home now. We're supposed to be track meeting. The story of this track season is why I can talk to you. We were supposed to be at the Herring Invitational, but it's been moved to Monday because of the weather.
Speaking of that, it's been kind of a crazy weather thing because last year, it was 85, 75, 80, sunny, dry. Everybody got to run. It was a great season. This year's been up and down. How tough is that on a track team to try to gain some consistency with meets being canceled like they are?
It's been real tough for that reason, the toughness about getting your meets in. It's also been tough that, it's cold like this. It changes back and forth. You got to be careful because, you always got that. I always feel like you got a greater risk of injury when the weather's cold because kids just, they don't get loosened up right or something goes wrong. You got to risk that injury, and it's been tough. And it's been such strange. Last year we complained because it got so hot so early. We had to run the heat. This year now we'd like to have some of that.
Speaking of have some of that, it's not long before the track season winds down. I think only a couple weeks until sectional. How has your team been doing this spring season?
Well, we've struggled. We've not got a lot of talent this year. We got a lot of. I think it's one of the most enjoyable teams I've coached. A lot of good kids to be around, a lot of fun, but. We've got one pretty good jumper in Tristan Fisher. He's a pretty good triple jumper, and he's got a chance in the 400. And then our hurdler, Tyler Hurst, got a chance in both hurdles to make it. Other than that, we've struggled. We're real young. We're mostly freshmen and sophomores. Don't have a lot of upperclassmen. But like I said, they've been one of the funnest bunches I've had to be around as far as going to practice each day and having a lot of fun out of it.
Well, and the thing I look at, too, is you also have a nice little facility this year, an all-weather track, all kinds of facilities to use for your track team. A difference maybe this year compared to previous years with that nice track and a facility to use?
Well, this year, just having it, you obviously see it. This year it's been super to have it because the years past with the way this weather's been, we always had to practice on the street because our track would be underwater. So it's just been so nice to be able to go out and not only have a place you can run each day, but now we can also work on our field events, exchanges, and all those things that you couldn't do before. I think a lot of people take that stuff for granted. I'd had it when I was at Redbud. It's all-weather track. When I came here, it was a struggle to get some little things done that you'd like to do because you just didn't have a facility. So I'm very appreciative of what we've got.
Speaking of things that you got, this is the IHSA 3-class system. We had Andy Salone on last week. He's head coach of the Benton girls track team, and his team has to run with the likes of Flora, Cahokia, East St. Louis, Mount Vernon, Mascoutah, and they don't see teams like that this year. Pinckneyville is a 1A program running with the likes, of course, teams you're familiar with in Nashville and Spartan and otherwise. You're also seeing teams like Altoff, Mater Dei, and O'Fallon First Baptist Academy. A little bit bigger schools starting to filter down towards 1A than maybe what you're used to seeing even with 2-class track going on.
Yeah, you and I have talked privately. How I feel about the way they do this. I think you ought to be based on the size of school you are and who you compete against. Fort Chester in football had to play against Altoff in the first round. I know that's been talked about, but I feel sorry for the Bentons and some that's got bumped up. Is going to have to compete against the Cahokians because you every once in a while get that individual that can do it, that can compete against it. But for your relays and things like that, it's a big disadvantage because they have so many more kids to get that 4 or 5 quality runners, or actually more than that when you're putting together 3 and 4 and 5 relay teams. And it just puts you at a huge disadvantage. And I don't like it for that reason. I don't like the 3 classes where you have to go up there and run on Thursday and you have to sit and wait till Saturday for the finals. I think track was better when it was a 2-class system, and I think they need to do some tweaking with that, but I think it was better as a 2-class system.
Is there a way, and I don't know, there's a lot of track coaches and sports people we talk about and talk with, is there a way to maybe, I know going back to 2 is probably not going to be, but is there a way that you maybe in track could go 4 like baseball, softball, basketball has done, maybe go 4 classes? Is that possible, or is that too much in one weekend?
Well, I don't think it'd be a problem with all that way, really, if they would either have to have, they'd probably have to have the state at 2 different locations, or do it on 2 different weekends, because that's the trouble with the free. You can't get all the prelims in on one day, so they had to go to this Thursday, Friday, and it really puts you in this problem. So if they went to 4, if they went to 2 locations, or they would run it on 2 different weekends or something like that, I think that would work out fine. It would probably give a little more fairness as far as the dividing of size-wise, I don't know what they're going to do. Like I said, they tend to not want to go back to where they came from. We've seen that with basketball, but I just don't think it's right now. You've got such a discrepancy in the size there, and when they had it before, now they readjusted this year, and it's made it worse for teams like I said, Heron and Benton. An outstanding track program here the last few years. I mean, outstanding, and go down this year. They still got some good kids. When they're going to have to go compete against the old kids and those teams, that's really going to make it tough on them.
Making it tough, and of course the weather's made it tough too. But when you get to this time of year, and we talk about track in Southern Illinois has been very good. A lot of good performances at Charleston over the years, both on the boys and girls side. At this point in 2013, as a high school coach teaching all the time, do you see an issue, maybe kids not wanting to come out for track? It is such an individual sport, takes a lot of effort, that maybe track numbers around the area starting maybe to decline, or are they staying the same or going up? What have you seen?
Well, I think track numbers have went down. I think it's a little bit of the trend we see in society. People don't work at, it's a sport you got to work at. Like I said, it's individual thing. But I think one of the big things, Danny, to be honest with you, is other sports. We've got all this other stuff going on. They're doing other things in the spring, and they're being asked to work year round and other things, and they they just don't get involved with it now. They focus on one sport so much. These kids do in high school. So, one of the greatest things I remember being in high school is I played all the different sports, and my favorite one was the one I was playing at the time. And they don't do that as much now. We got kids that just pick one sport and say that's what they're going to do. And when you go to do that, track's going to be the loser because there's not, like I said, it's not a team thing as much where you don't get the camaraderie. Plus, it's a thing you've really got to work at.
You and I are old enough to remember the days where it used to be kind of not a written rule, but unwritten rule. Kids had to participate. If you wanted to do another sport, you had to participate in a fall and a spring sport or a winter sport to keep going. Is that kind of gone by the boards in a lot of places these days?
Yeah, I think coaches used to want the kids to do that for various reasons. I always did. As a football coach, I wanted my kids to run track for 3 reasons. One, I wanted to be able to condition the spring, and 2, I wanted to keep an eye on them. And, you have the grade check. You can make sure they're staying up on their academics, and that was the main reason. But now I think that's not being pushed. If they don't want them doing that, they'd rather work with them themselves and in their sports, and they don't realize the value, I think, of running on the track team. I think track really helps you in all sports. I really do. I think it's a great builder of athleticism.
One final question, as you know, we answer and do our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, and this week's question is, let me restart that. What college or pro sports team, when they lose, makes you the happiest?
When they lose makes you the happiest?
Yeah, well, everybody has their favorite team, but what one, when they lose, makes you the happiest?
Well, even though I'm almost pure Irish, I have to go. I always get kind of a little happiness when Notre Dame loses.
Yeah. There's Sarah, as Mike Richardson on my left pumps his fist, like I do. That's always a joy, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't like to root against anybody, but I've never been a big fan of Notre Dame, so I respect their tradition. But that's one I don't get too upset when they don't win.
Well, Coach, we thank you for taking time this morning. We were hoping you had a track meet today, but weather hopefully improved. Get some meets in before the end of the season. And Coach, thanks for joining us this morning on a Saturday Sports Show.
Always my pleasure, Danny. Enjoy talking to you.
Thank you. That's Todd Rushing, the head coach of the boys track team, Pinckneyville High School. We got to take a break, get back to the softball time, and we'll talk with Matt Wynn. He'll talk about the Benton Rangerettes softball team coming up on the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
Welcome back to Personal Banking is more than our tagline at Community First Bank. It's the truth. From our 5 locations in Jefferson County, the debit cards tied to local schools that we offer, the dozens of scholarships we provide to local youth, and even our president who sits at the front door. The Community First Bank difference is apparent. Our mission as Jefferson County's premier community bank is to provide the best customer service around. Stop by one of our 5 locations and experience true personal banking. Community First Bank with locations in Mount Vernon, Woodlawn, Dix, and Ina. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
Saturday Sports Show on WMIX, brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
That's what healthcare should be.
And we go right back again to the softball time, and this time on the Ohio Division side, Benton Rangerettes softball. Joining us now, Coach Matt Wynn. And me personally, Matt, it's nice to be back on the radio interviewing you once again to talk a little softball.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, Danny. It's been a long time. We've worked together a lot in basketball, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
I haven't forgotten about you. You're on the softball side of things these days, from the wooden bench back to the bench of softball. Any differences? What are the differences coaching boys basketball to girls softball at the high school level?
Well, that's a good question. Really, I haven't found there to be a lot of differences. I think as a coach, you want to do your very best to just go out and teach. I really enjoy teaching the game of softball just as I did in basketball. And, we want to be competitive. And I think that's an important thing. We go out each day and work as hard as we can. And I still have some of the same stresses that I had in basketball, just hoping that we're doing things right and making sure that we're prepared for each game. And, there really isn't a whole lot of difference. I've really enjoyed this group. They've been a really fun group to work with, and it's made the season really enjoyable.
Now, for me, things that make me feel old are like music that goes out of style, favorite sports athletes retire, like, oh, my God, they're in the Hall, and then you go, oh, my gosh, they're in the Hall of Fame already. You are a coach and coaching your daughter, Bailey, who should still be about 7 or 8, walking around the high school gym doing whatever. You get to coach her in softball. How much fun has that been this year?
You know what? It's been good, Danny. It's really been good from the standpoint that because I'm coaching 14 kids. To be honest with you, I don't focus as much on her. It's kind of been, I think, good for her too, in a sense that. She doesn't have to listen to me constantly, and I'm worried about so many different things. But it is great to be able to coach her. We started playing softball when she was 9 years old. Started traveling through an organization called Southern Express. We've been doing that the last 9 summers, and she's not going to play this year. She's going to go to Wynn Lake College, and she's not going to play softball. So we've got about 2 or 3 more weeks left together. It's just been, I've been very fortunate to be able to coach her and really coach all the kids. They're just they're a good group, but of course it's nice to be able to coach your own.
Speaking of that, for this season, for our listeners who, obviously keep track of a lot of things, talk about your season that your team's been having over there in Benton.
Okay. Well, we're 13-8 right now. We've played 21 games. We've been very fortunate this year, Danny. We've had weather's been really tough, and we've only had 3 games that have been canceled. And I feel really good about that. Chris does our field. He's done a really good job with that, and so we've been fortunate there. But we've played 21 games. Our biggest concern, Danny, coming into the season was we had a young lady that pitched every pitch for the last 4 years for us, Amanda Holloway, and we just didn't really know how we were going to replace that. And in softball, such a big part of the game is that circle and who you have in there, and can you throw strikes and get people out. And we started the year and we had a lot of question marks there, and that was a big concern. And the way it's shaped out, we've had a young lady that's a freshman. Her name is Taylor Mosley. She's really stepped up, and she kind of took over about the 2nd or 3rd game of the year, and she's been very consistent. She's thrown strikes. She physically, as a freshman, you can tell that she's a freshman, but mentally, she really thinks the game, and she thinks counts and nibbles on the outside corner, and is very good at locating her pitches. And she's good with her changeup. She can throw 2 pitches for a strike, and you hear that old philosophy, all you have to do is change speeds and locate it, and she's a prime example of a kid that's just really pitched. I mean, she's not a thrower, she's a pitcher, and she's done a great job for us and given us a chance every game. In our infield, Bailey Wynn plays first base. She's a senior. She's one of only 2 seniors. Tegan Nibbs is our other senior who's done an outstanding job for us in right field defensively and starting to hit the ball a little bit better. Behind the plate, we have Sarah Dixon. Sarah is, I'll tell you, I think one of the best players in Southern Illinois. She has done an outstanding job for us behind the plate. She's got a good arm. She's one of our leading hitters, and she's a 3-year starter behind the plate. We have Jordan Wills at second base. Jordan and Emily Oxford both really have just done an outstanding job up the middle. Defensively, has done a really good job, and we have to make a lot of plays behind Taylor. Taylor's not someone that gets a lot of strikeouts, so defensively we have to be pretty strong. And up the middle with Jordan and Emily, we've really done a good job this year. Kristen Odom is at third base. Kristen's she's a junior. She's really started to hit the ball well for us, and I told my wife the other day, I said, I don't think we've made an error at third base, really, that I can remember. She has just really done a good job for us, does a good job on bunt coverages, and she can make the outstanding play with her backhand down the line, too. So she's really done a good job. In center field, one of the better players in Southern Illinois, I think, is Katie Sandusky. She's left-handed. She's very versatile, can do a lot of things. She's a slapper, bunter, good speed, and she can hit the ball for power. So she's one of our leading hitters. I think she's hitting about 420 right now, having a really, really solid year. Callie Carney is in left field. Callie is our cleanup hitter, and she leads our team in RBIs. She's the only one on our team that has hit a home run. So she's had 3 this year and done a really good job. And then we bring a freshman in off the bench, Danny. Her name is Aubrey Hunter. She's kind of our designated hitter, per se, and she's got good power. She's played a lot of softball, and she adds a lot to the team. We've got Mallory Shreves, Jordan Bayless, Alexis Newcomb, and also that give us a little JV time, and they've really done a good job also.
And your team will play in a couple of weeks, not trying to rush the season along, but in a couple of weeks at probably one of the toughest regionals in softball in Southern Illinois, arguably. You have the likes of DuQuoin, Nashville, Pinckneyville, WSV, and CRC. That's not a softball regional for anybody that wants to be average or want a regional that's easy, is it?
Man, Danny, that's a tough regional. I mean, I just feel like right now there are probably about 5 or 6 teams that I would really consider heavyweights in Southern Illinois softball, and about 2 or 3 of them happen to be in our regional. Pinckneyville's having an outstanding year, and of course DuQuoin and Nashville. And so we've got 6 teams in our regional. I mean, we hope to be playing our best softball at that time, and we would like to get to hopefully have a chance to take to get into a game with Nashville, with the DuQuoin, and just see how we do. I think that's the goal that we have. So.
And the goal that you have, of course, is one final question for us. Every year, every time we have a guest on, and you'll get used to this as you join our show all the time, we always ask, I don't know if you've heard about this, our WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. Has Wine Miller or Claude Felder told you about this?
No, they haven't.
They haven't. All right. I didn't know if Sloan would jump in and tell you, or Schertzy. I didn't know if anybody.
Nobody has clued me in, so this is a surprise for me.
Okay. All right. Well, the surprise question is this: everybody's got a favorite team. When they win, they're happy. But this week, we're asking, what college or pro sports team, when they lose, makes you the happiest?
That's a good question. What college
or pro sports team? Yep.
Or pro sports team when they lose?
Yep.
Makes me happiest.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a good question. Because I'm not a hater, Danny.
I know. Yeah.
I'm usually not. I'm not rooting against teams a lot, but I'll tell you this. Let's see. It doesn't bother me to see the Yankees get beat.
Okay.
I guess because they've had so much success, and I always view whoever they're playing as an underdog, and they have all the money in their big market, and I guess I'm kind of an underdog type guy. So.
Is that one of those deals because you're a Mets fan that kind of plays into the effect too?
Hey, that plays a little bit into it. I mean, and you know, I was a Mets fan growing up when they were really good. I'm tuning into the Cardinals a whole lot more because I think they play with a whole lot more purpose than my old Mets. But it probably is because of my Mets background there.
There you go. Coach, it's been nice for me to get you back on the radio and interview you again. Feels like old times. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we'll get you on more and more here in the future as we'll talk Benton Rangerettes softball.
Hey, I appreciate it. Danny, you know what? We have a young lady, too, Kelsey Vaughn, also.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have my roster in front of me, but she's also a junior. She plays JV for us, and I'm just really proud of the girls, Danny. I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to it in the future.
Hey, thank you, Matt, for being on.
Hey, thanks a lot.
That's Matt Wynn, head coach of the Benton Rangerettes softball team. Nice to have him on once again for me because we used to interview him a lot down at one of our sister stations, WQRL, many times on Saturday sports show down there. We need to take a break. We got to come back, and we got to help the local high school and grade school raise some money today. A drive one for your school going on. We're going to have a local AD on who's in charge of that and helping things out down at Ford Square, just down the blocks from us east. You're listening to Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
Southern Illinois now has a better home for sports. It's the all-new WMIXsports.com. Jam-packed with local scores, video highlights, and archives of every local sports broadcast on WMIX. Did your team win? Missed that game-winning shot last night? Didn't catch your favorite coach on the Saturday Sports Show? WMIXsports.com is right at your fingertips. On your computer, your smartphone, your tablet, or your video game console. It's the all-new WMIXsports.com. Another free service from Withers Broadcasting.
How do the best continue to get better? Hi, this is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. We're no different than any team. When you're at the top of your game, the best want to play for you. That's why, with the addition of our new shop foreman and the rest of our body shop crew, Landers now has a combined experience of over 70 years in dealing with the best parts and repair finishes on the market. This means when you walk into Landers, you can breathe a little easier knowing that your vehicle will receive the best quality repair by the best certified technicians within a reasonable amount of time. Again and again, we work directly with most insurance companies and have loaners and rental vehicles on site for your convenience. We're proud to not only be the standard, but to keep raising the bar in collision repair. Come meet the staff, take a tour of our facilities, and get to know the Landers crew that Landers Collision has so proudly acquired. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. Give us a call, 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
We're grooving into the last part of the Saturday Sports Show. Brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
As we groove. Man, we are grooving. Get the polyester and the bell bottoms out. Here we go. We're going to raise some money down at Ford Square today, 9 to 3:30 at Ford Square for Waltonville Grade School and High School. Joining us now on the Saturday Sports Show, once again, the athletic director at Waltonville High School, Eric Witges. Thanks for joining us. Coach, how's it going this morning at Ford Square already?
Good. How are you guys doing? We're out on the road, out for my second test drive already.
Okay, so because Mount Vernon does this, Woodlawn does this, but who's test driving today for the Waltonville Spartans in the junior high and high school level? Who gets to ride? Who do you get to drive with? Who do people get to ride with as you test drive around town?
You actually get to ride with employees of Waltonville, coaches, administrators, and we've also got Booster Club officers that are here working as well. So it's going to be somebody from Waltonville that you'll get to take for a little joyride and help us out.
9 to 3:30 today at Ford Square. Place a lot of people know where it's at here in downtown Mount Vernon. Opportunity to raise money for your programs there. Talk about how much money you can raise today and talk about where this money's going to go.
Well, with the program from Lincoln, we could get up to $6,000 today just by having the test drive. And, for me and for the Booster Club and the school, it's unique because, most fundraising, you have to buy something or you feel obligated to buy flowers or chocolate or a pizza or something like this. But, this is take 5-10 minutes of your time, come drive a new car and walk away with, no questions, no frills. No one's going to bother you about, trying to buy a car here or there. So for us, it's a great opportunity to raise some money
pretty easily.
It's important in this day and age. You're an athletic director. You got budgets to crunch and things like that. How helpful is this going to be coming in for your programs in the high school and grade school level that will have that money coming in?
Well, it's going to do wonders. We're blessed to be at a small school like Waltonville where not only do you have a good academic program, but you also got an athletic program that a lot of alumni and the school board does not want to see get cut or have any cuts. And so to have a fundraiser like this to bring in some additional funds will allow us to keep those programs and the new uniforms and the updates to the fields and stuff without having to, force to cut that or try to look elsewhere to do that. So, for us, it's great to be able to buy uniforms with this or, fund a bus trip for a basketball game or anything like that without having to have to ask the parents to take them to a game or something like that.
So, well, tell us today if somebody, and we're trying to promote this to everybody, if they were to come into Ford Square today, what happens when they get there? Tell us about that.
Well, we've got, you actually come into the back of Ford Square, back where the service is in the very back of the dealership, and we've got 2 white tents set up, and you'll come in and you'll fill out some paperwork, just basically name and address, and then you'll pick out which car you want, and a person from Waltonville will join you in the car, go take a drive, come back, and you're good. It's pretty easy, pretty effortless as far as, you're not waiting in line. They're not going to try to hassle you or anything. So you basically walk in, sign a couple papers, and test drive a vehicle.
So what kind of vehicles, fancy vehicles, are people getting to test drive today through Lincoln?
We've got whichever one of them. You only drive a Lincoln. So we've got a Lincoln MKT, MKX, MKS. I think I've heard a couple people say they don't have a Navigator here, so I guess we're kind of let down on that part. But they're real nice vehicles, and we're just test driving one now, Brian Klinger and I, and it's touch buttons, so you don't shift it into parts. You actually touch drive or touch P, touch N, and it'll actually go into that gear. So it's pretty wild.
Brian Klinger, I'm glad that Brian Klinger gets to drive. Any nervousness at all riding with Brian Klinger right about now?
Oh, no. He stayed in the speed limit, so we're good.
Okay, so you can drive out to the interstate and take it for a run, see how fast something goes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we didn't go over the speed limit.
No speed limit. No, the Waltonville people will not let anybody drive over the speed limit, right? Hey, one last question before we let you go. We know you got a lot of people to ride with, drive, and talk to. We always have our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, and this week's question is, everybody has a favorite sports team. When they win, everybody's happy. For the question today is, what college or pro sports team, when they lose, makes you the happiest?
College or pro?
Yeah, either one or both. We're letting multiple answers go today, too, as well.
I'm going to have to say probably the Chicago Cubs.
Okay.
On my end. Just you keep hearing, wait till next year. Well, I keep waiting. And I have a feeling I'll be waiting for a while. But hopefully one of these years they'll get to have a turnaround and have a good year. My grandpa was a lifelong Cubs fan, and he's probably not too happy I said that. But, it's something as a Cardinal fan that you see, and it's something I don't get a joy out of losing, but I do get a kick out of it.
Well, that's all right. Hey, thanks for joining us. We know you got some driving around to do and autographs to sign and whatnot, but thanks for joining us this morning here on the Saturday Sports Show.
All right, thanks, Danny. Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
That's Eric Witges, athletic director of Waltonville High School. Drive one for your school today, going toward the sports programs of Waltonville High School. Mike, it's not a deal of, well, that's Waltonville, I'm not going. It's a deal of everybody in this area. If you're around, go to Ford Square today between now and 3:30. You can test drive a vehicle. You probably get a flash drive out of the deal. You donate $20. You don't have to buy a car. Just go test drive. Every person that walks through helps them. An opportunity to help each other out in this day and age where schools are looking for money any way they can.
Yeah, we've had that happen at Woodlawn several times, and we've had several people from the area around in the county. It's not just, exactly everybody there was from Woodlawn. So I'm sure there's some Woodlawn people listening that would probably want to come and help out as well, and anybody else around the listening audience is hearing us from the county or whatever. This is what it's all about. We want to keep all the small schools going, Eric said it right. I mean, it's a small high school, like several in the area, that funding is a necessity this day and age, and with all the issues that the state has going on with our schools, that every penny counts. So anybody that could do that, help us out this Saturday, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Greatly appreciated. How many breaks do we have left, Avery? 2? Can't be. Really? We have 8 minutes to do 2 breaks. Killing me.
Kill one now.
Yeah, let's kill one now and come back. We'll take a break and come back and wrap this thing up before we go to softball here on the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
More Americans are on the move today than ever before. One of the most popular modes of transportation is the motorcycle. Motorcycles take us to our jobs, school, to the beach, and all around the country. If you're a bike rider, your Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crownview in Mount Vernon, wants to make sure you have the best insurance protection while you're riding. Ask about the money-saving auto cycle discount and the experienced driver discount, too. Call Page Insurance at 242-7000 today about motorcycle insurance from Pekin Insurance.
I'm Kevin Snyder with a look at your next rad weather. Periods of rain and a few rumbles of thunder today and tonight. High today of 61 and a low tonight of 52. Then cloudy tomorrow morning with a shower or two. We'll see some sunshine returning for the afternoon. High of 66 and a low tomorrow night of 48. Monday, partly sunny and warmer. High 76. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Fuel economy could not be more affordable. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ford dealer at Ford Square in Mount Vernon. The 2013 Ford Fiesta and Ford Focus are a dynamic duo of high miles per gallon. Right now, you will find a Ford Fiesta 4-door with an automatic transmission ready to get you 39 miles per gallon highway and for less than $15,000 plus tax, title, and license. Your pocketbook wins twice, saving out the door and at the pump. Wow. Or how about 38 miles per gallon in a 4-door 2013 Ford Focus? Drive away in the Ford Focus for $16,435 when you finance through Ford Motor Credit. Saving at the pump doesn't have to come at a premium. Browse our inventory at FordSquare.com or come see one of our associates at Ford Square Mount Vernon, 1501 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
Saturday Sports Show brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Well, we're wrapping things up a little early, 5 minutes away from the pregame for Lady Rams softball. Twin bill today against the Nashville Hornettes. Pregame at 9:45. First pitch scheduled for 10 a.m. Hopefully we'll get both games in. If the rain will stay away. A big thank you to all of our guests this morning. Tim Holloway, Lance Boldt, Dempsey, Witte, Shane Witzel, Todd Rushing, Matt Wynn, and Eric Witges. Remember to get down to Ford Square from now until 3:30. You can raise some money and help out Waltonville Grade School and High School. It's not about rivalries today. It's about helping each other out. Thank you to our listeners traversing up past Auburn and to Vernon and otherwise up to Springfield. The signal loud and clear on the AM side. Let those guys know they're traveling up there. That signal was in Peoria last night. People were listening to Mount Vernon Rams baseball on the AM in Peoria, Illinois yesterday evening. Mike, final thought before we wrap it up. April into May. Next week is May. Hard to believe.
That is hard to believe. You know, we've had such a distasteful April after last year's record-setting beautiful weather that we had, and it's been, you know, issues with some softball and baseball games around the area, but probably that will get taken care of here in the month of May, and You always look at, today, the final rounds of the NFL draft, which I really like the new format they've done the last year or so with the Thursday night extravaganza that they've got going for the number one picks. That's been a tremendous hit. And, now getting the football people in place and seeing what's your favorite team, how they've drafted, and be a while before camps start. But, that's sort of exciting time right now with baseball going and hockey right around the corner. Their playoffs are getting ready to start in the NBA. Not looking like there's going to be too many first-round games, series of very much interest, really.
NBA, NFL going strong, NASCAR, baseball as well. We'll tell you for our choices in draft. Go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/WMIX Sports to answer our social media question of the week. We have already had 28 responses already. So go to facebook.com/WMIX Sports, post your answer, and like us while you're there as well. Follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports. We tweet stuff all the time, whether it's junior high, high school, college, or pro. Different information for you. We also have a website, WMIXsports.com. Each night there are games in high school sports. We have a scoreboard update. We have archives of both audio and video. We have also a broadcast schedule as well on there. With that said, Avery's... Oh, we got to keep going? Oh, the executive producer is telling me to keep going. We're rolling up to, what, 9:44 and 59 seconds? Is that what you're telling me? Something? He hasn't called yet. Oh, so we can talk. Mike, we can talk.
Evidently, we can
keep going. We can go as long as we want.
Until the bat phone rings. We can go till then.
Well, I guess we can go to the bat phone talk. So then, let's... Oh, that might be that person there. Let's see. He's trying to fringe in on this time. I look at this. I don't know what Avery's doing here. The NBA Finals, playoffs. I love it. I could watch every night.
Oh, absolutely.
There's not going to be a lot of first-round upsets. Big thing might be Lakers and Celtics both getting swept out in the first round. That's never happened in the first round.
Yeah, and I tell you what, boy, you never want to be hurt. And, I mean, it's just the same song and dance that you're going to hear from whoever fan you are of what team. But you can't have injuries this time of the year. And, I mean, for the Lakers, good grief, they just keep mounting. Meta World Peace, which he probably shouldn't even been playing anyway, trying to rush back from that little knee procedure that he had. Kobe's been out, no problem, but just couldn't get it to fall last night, and San Antonio's got to be looking good. And yeah, a rarity, an oddity. I don't know statistically. We'll have the feelers out there to maybe confirm it, but possibly the first time in NBA history the Lakers, Celtics both being swept in first round series. The Knicks has played well. They played smart. I actually seen Carmelo Anthony get his hand up on defense once in this 3-game series so far. I'm not kidding. I saw it go up one time. Not during a shot, but on defense. So if that happens, the Knicks looks pretty good. And San Antonio, again, one of the best coaches in the game, and Popovich taking the helm. And boy, for OKC, not a lot of happy fans right now with Russell Westbrook's situation.
Nope, out for the near future, probably out for at least another series if and when OKC gets through that. Of course, Lady Rams softball coming up. Pregame will begin here shortly as the Lady Rams host the Nashville Hornettes. We'll have both those games right here on AM 940 WMIX as well as online at WMIXsports.com. Chris Hugo is out there getting ready in position, getting things ready to go. I'll join him soon after that. All kinds of games next week here on WMIX. We have, if I can remember right, the schedule baseball-wise, Monday at Murfreesboro, Tuesday at home against Carbondale, Wednesday at Cahokia, Thursday at Althoff, something like that. And all busy week. You can find our broadcast schedule, of course, at WMIXsports.com. We have that posted all the time, and Facebook.com/WMIX Sports. We tweet information at WMIX Sports as well. It's a big-time operation here. What goes on is we're still waiting, and we're talking out of everything. Of course, now another thing, too, is you got the NFL draft. That'll wrap up this weekend. NASCAR's going hot and heavy. MLB baseball, about 20, 25 games in. For me, I'll take until Memorial Day to see what the trends are. I'm one of those that has to wait till Memorial Day. It's kind of like the first turn of the season.
Flag Day, Memorial Day, somewhere in there where you're getting 50 games, 60 games under your belt. You truly can use your number 5 starters in a positive rotation. You're going to get your switches in your outfield as far as righty, lefty, anything like that. you really start whittling down that roster as far as how your starters are going to go. So that's always a good gauge. Your bullpen sort of gets set in position. And, for some teams that are totally healthy, getting out of the gate strong, and if you're below 500 now, you really got to start questioning things, as the rumor wire has been tremendously active the last couple of weeks, teams not getting off to good starts. And some of those teams with major injuries and still being able to keep their heads above water sort of looks like maybe a little excitement down the road for teams like that. So, I still like to wait just a little while before everybody starts hooping and hollering.
Speaking of hooping and hollering, every pitch of St. Louis Cardinals baseball right here on WMIX 94.1 FM. Every pitch you can listen to the Cardinals, and they're a team that's rather interesting right now, I think, with things. And I love what you talked about, people talking about trade rumors. It's always interesting to me that fans want to trade guys that can't do anything because they want something in return. Fans always start freaking out about this time. Why can't we trade this guy? He's got no home runs. Well, because he has no home runs, you're not trading him. It's always that time of year right now.
It's always amazing that it's no different in real sports than it is in fantasy as well. I mean, you got a top-notch number one stud pitcher, and then all of a sudden, you see on the waiver wire coming from a guy in your fantasy league that he wants to trade you 2 reserve outfielders for your number one pitcher. It's like, well, these guys got all sorts of possibilities. Well, why do I need 2 reserve outfielders if I've got my one good pitcher that I want to keep? So, and Major League and fans are the same way. Fans want to definitely do that, and they're always wanting something for nothing, and in the real world, it just don't work that way sometimes.
And that doesn't work that way. As we said, MLB NASCAR tonight in Richmond, a night race at the 3/4 mile track. That's a fast little track. Matt Kenseth sits on the pole tonight for that one. Must have used a really fast engine to get on the pole for that one. And we digress back a little bit. We've talked a little bit about the pros. College scene basically is, your spring sports going on. The other thing is spring football's done for colleges. A lot of teams getting their last workouts in either this weekend or last weekend. The high school scene, a guy returns back to the bench. Head coach of DuQuoin Indians, Wendell Wheeler, back again after a hiatus. Had some time off, did some different things, remain in the school system teaching, now back again as the head coach of the Indians basketball program.
Well, he's always stayed in touch because being a teacher, you're always around the kids and different things like that. And maybe just some time off, got the batteries rejuvenated, an opportunity presents itself, taking advantage of that. Guy that knows the game in and out. So ought to be a very smooth transition for him to get back at the helm there at the basketball level.
And that transition for us, this is the last Saturday sports show in April. And right now, this Saturday sports show will go into May next weekend. And next weekend is a favorite. Bass Fishing State Tournament at Carlisle is going to go on. And you go from there, and then the next weekend, next week, of course, you have the seedings for 1A and 2A baseball and softball come out, seedings and pairings. Once you have bass fishing next weekend, which is the 3rd, I believe, then you have girls track sectionals on the 10th. State girls track the 17th. Boys sectionals 16th, 17th. Boys track state the 24th of May. You throw in there the other spring sports going on with tennis sectionals at Carbondale. And then Marion has the soccer regional for girls for Mount Vernon, Centralia, Marion, Carbondale. I mean, once we roll in the next week, it seems like this is kind of like you're at the top of the roller coaster. But then next week when it goes to May, Mike, we're straight downhill to the end of the spring season.
Yeah, and you throw in also now when the calendar turns to May the 1st, I think the weekend, or if they moved them to Tuesdays, the grade school regionals will be in track.
Yep.
And then state will be somewhere around the 12th, 15th, somewhere in there. It will be for sure on a Saturday.
Right.
So that is another big event that we always look forward to, of taking place, covering and following as much as we can with all the local athletes we have in our area. At the grade school level track as well. It's a fun time to watch the young men participate in track, running, throwing, things of that nature, and women as well. So that will be hot on the horizon here as well.
It's been a good Saturday sports show. We remind you of Facebook.com/WMIX Sports. We're going to transition. Send it out to Chris Hugo of the Cusimano Sports Complex for Lady Rams softball. Join him here in a minute. Thanks for listening to the Saturday sports show. Now out to Chris Hugo for the Lady Rams softball pregame show.